here we are on to the second week with AutoCAD, and what I did is I opened up my AutoCAD and it has this window that pops up, but we'll get to that in a second. In week one, we went over the interface and the basic concepts and the tools of the program. Commands are organized in buttons, okay, in the ribbons up above here, but also can be accessed through keyboard shortcuts, aliases, and input of commands. In setting up a new drawing to make sure that the units are, in setting up a new drawing, okay, we need to make sure that the units are set to architectural, okay, so that we have our feet and inches. And the tools so far that we introduce include line, polyline, rectangle, and circle, as well as some of the modified tools such as move, copy, and erase. In continuation of the recap, AutoCAD also displays three main cursor modes: the standard mode, the point selection, and object selection, depending on which command you're executing. So that basically that just means that when your commands change and the command process change, your cursor is going to change. So that's just a visual cue for you in working through AutoCAD to figure out where, at what place AutoCAD is looking for a command or for input, or if it's even a command at all. When the cursor, as noted, when the cursor is shown, AutoCAD is waiting for instructions. So this is that language that you should start to get used to as you start to work with AutoCAD. And then, there's the other selection types too that you can review on the handout too as well. So in continuing our working with AutoCAD, when I open up this, my AutoCAD for the first time, to work on the week 2 stuff, again, it tells me that, this is created by an Autodesk Education Suite. So again, I'm still using the same educational product as you should hopefully have installed on your own computers using the link that was in the week 1 handout and in the syllabus, to be able to work with it, concurrently with these tutorials. So it's just basically telling me that this is an educational product, and I am going to hit continue. And what we're going to do now is we're going to look at a couple different ways of working with the tools in order to create what we want. And essentially, in working with AutoCAD, okay, so we started to work with some of these tools up here to create our lines, our rectangles, and our circles for the homework from last week. But what we can also do is those aren't the only ways of doing things, okay? I always say that, with AutoCAD, there's many ways to skin a cat, okay? No offense to cats, but basically, there's many ways to do things, and it really just depends on your preferences and getting to know the tools and what they do. And we'll see some of the differences between those once we start to use the modify commands, okay? But to go back for a second, in addition to using the rectangle tool in order to draw boxes, we can also draw rectangles using the polyline or the line command. Okay, so when we type in the command, either polyline or line, okay, we saw the differences between the two last week, so I'm going to just type in PL for polyline. One thing is, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but a lot of people, when they start to use AutoCAD and get more sophisticated with it, they, as a little tip, suggest to always use the polyline. Just because when we start to work with some of these modify tools, it tends to react a little bit easier than lines. And again, we'll see that in a second. But I'm going to start by typing in PL for polyline, okay? Or if you want, you can type in P-line or polyline as the command, okay? The nice thing about, the later releases of AutoCAD is they have, this system where you just start to type it in and it'll go and find the command for you. Or else you can go up above and you can click on the polyline tool right up above here. So, again, it's a personal preference. It depends on if you're a tool button person versus, an alias person versus, somebody who just likes to type in the command. So you'll get these preferences as you start to work through AutoCAD. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in PL for polyline. Okay, it's asking me to specify my start point. Now, before I get into this, okay, make sure, and we'll talk about templates in a second, okay, for the latter part of the half, or the half of the class, but make sure, again, once you start to specify your points, that you're seeing feet and inches, okay? If you note in my example, if you can see it, mine doesn't. So this is a system of the template, okay, and again, we'll get into that later on. But before I begin drawing my polyline, I'm going to hit escape, okay? And again, I'm going to type in units and make sure that they are architectural and hit OK. Okay, so now I'm going to type in PL again, and you'll see that now my units are in feet and inches, so I know that I'm good to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on a start point. Okay, I'm going to turn my ortho on, okay, just to make sure that I have straight lines, okay, and they're constrained to the 90 degrees. So I'm going to hit the function 8 key, and it's going to constrain it to the 90 degrees, and I can type in, let's say, 36 inches in one direction. Okay, I just zoomed out using my scroll button during the command in order to see the rest of my rectangle. I'm going to say 1 foot, 36. Okay, and then what I can do is I can actually click, because my object snap is on. Okay, and again, that's down here in your drafting settings, or you can hit the F3 key. I can either click, okay, on my endpoint there, and I can hit enter or hit the space bar or hit right click. But what I can also do is if I'm in the command, okay, you'll see that down below I have my sub commands there too. If I do U and enter to undo my last move, okay, so a lot of these commands I can do the U enter for undo, and we learned about undo last week. And basically I can still be within the command, and I can hit undo and I can undo that last step. Okay, and this is to show you that I can either, click to that endpoint in order to close out my rectangle. Okay, so I could click and hit escape or hit enter in order to close out of the command. Okay, or I can type in 1 foot, okay, and then hit escape to get out of the command in order to close a rectangle. Or what I can do is I can actually use what's called this close, okay, option under the sub options of this command. And what that does is no matter where your cursor's at, okay, it will always snap it to the beginning point. So if I type in C and enter, what it does is it closes my rectangle and then it exits out of the command. Okay, to do it again, it doesn't have to be a rectangle, it can be whatever shape. Okay, I'm going to type in PL again for polyline. And this time I'm going to take my F8 or my ortho, I'm going to turn it off so that you can see, a little more fluidly what this command can do. And I'm going to just make a random shape. Okay, so I'm just going to click and specify my start point. I'm going to click on another point, another point, another point, and I can keep going, okay, until I want to end that shape and do C and enter. And what it does is it snaps it back to that first point and it closes out the command. So I always think that that's a really helpful way of, again, just saving maybe a second of time, okay, in order to get it done just a little bit quicker. But it's a method that I use a lot. So what we're going to be going through now is we're going to be looking at how to draw lines, okay, at an angle. So what we had done before is we created rectangles with straight lines. Now what we want to do is we want to draw our rectangles, or any of our shapes with an accurate angled line. Okay, so there's, again, a few ways of doing it, which is how AutoCAD operates. So before we begin, I'm going to select these objects, okay, according to the selection tools that we learned last week. As I said, I tend to use the green selection tool just because it's a little bit faster. And I can hit E for erase and enter, and that will erase them. So now what I'm going to review is how to actually draw lines at an angle in AutoCAD. So to do this, what I want to do is I want to start by entering my line or my polyline command. I'm using polyline, hit enter, and I'm going to specify my start point. Now you'll see that when that happens, basically the default is to have your dynamic input on and also your polar tracking on, which you can adjust down below in your drafting settings. But if they're on, you'll see that wherever you move your mouse, there's a little tiny box that's below my input, okay, my command input, and it's telling me what degrees my mouse is at right now. Okay, so right now it's 40 degrees. And you'll see that highlighted blue is the input for the distance. So one thing that I can do is I can actually move my mouse off into a direction. Okay, now my mouse is at 37 degrees, and I can type in a distance, let's say 34 for 34 inches. Okay, what that'll do is it'll snap the line to 34 inches in that angle. However, I don't trust that that's the most accurate way of going about it, and whenever we draw in AutoCAD, we always want our drawings to be as accurate as possible. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple methodologies that work in order to make it as accurate as possible. So I'm going to hit U and enter. Okay, note I'm still in the polyline command, and what I did is I just undid that step within that command. So we covered that in the last, or in the earlier portion. And one way that we can go about, essentially there's two ways that we can go about doing this in AutoCAD, okay, or two main ways. One is by actually saying to AutoCAD, before we start, this is the angle that I want to constrain my mouse to, okay? So before we begin typing any distance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Shift and hit the comma key, okay? And what that does is it enters basically what's the less than symbol, and that's AutoCAD's universal symbol for angle. And I'm going to type in an angle, so let's say 76. Okay, what it's going to do is it's going to constrain my line. Okay, as you see, all the little flying things around it went away. And what it's doing is it's actually constraining it to 76 degrees. Okay, so you'll see that my x, if we think back to our days of angles in earlier math classes, my x is at the 0 degrees. Okay, if we look at our coordinates, and the y is at 90 degrees. So this is 76 degrees. And then what I can do is I can type in a distance. So we'll say 34. Again, you know, the inch sign is optional. And I'll hit enter. And basically it's snapping my line 34 degrees, or it's 34 inches at 76 degrees. And what it does is once I do that, okay, it will still continue on with the commands, and it will just continue from where you left off. Okay, so you're not, within the command, always having to stick to that angle that you specified before. Okay, now what I can do is I can specify another angle. So I can do the same thing and say Shift, hit that angle key, angle symbol, and we can say, okay, well, I want it to be, let's say, 345 degrees. Now it's at 345 degrees, and I can say, okay, well, now I want it 2 feet in that angle. And I can keep going and going and going until I get out of the command. So that's one way of doing it. Okay, so I hit escape to get out of the command in order to show you the second way of doing it. Now the second way of doing it is by essentially inputting a formula in a way of how to actually, you know, it kind of kills two birds with one stone. What it does is it allows you to enter the distance and the angle within one command. So, you know, again, you'll see which one you prefer to work with it. Okay, they both do the same thing. So again, I'm going to hit enter to recall my last command. I'm going to specify my start point, so I started it there. And then now what I'm going to do is before, you know, going into the angle and anything like that, the way that it works is that if I hold down Shift and hit 2, okay, what that does is it calls up the at symbol. And what this method does is it says at this point, okay, at my start point, I want to go this distance in this angle, okay? So you'll see that right by your command, okay, it's prompting you for these additional inputs, okay? So right now, the distance is highlighted. So I'm going to say at, let's say 67 inches, okay, so I can leave that alone. And then I'm going to hold down Shift and comma and hit angle, okay, and what that did is it locked the 67 inches in there, okay, so you'll see that when I move my cursor, that distance is locked at 67 inches, but what it didn't lock is the angle of it. So again, you know, to this point, I did at 67, and then I hit that angle button again, just like in the first example. And then now what I can do is I can specify the angle. Okay, so it kind of works in reverse, that rather than specifying the angle first, this specifies the distance first, and then the angle second. So then we can say, you know, angle, let's say 35, and hit enter. Okay, so again, it still keeps you within this command, Okay, but what it does is it works a little bit differently in how we input our information about our angles.